A judge drops charges against a man accused of threatening to kill his co-workers. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Valone. Thank you for joining us. Well, prosecutors say he called himself the Joker when he allegedly made life-threatening phone calls to his former employer last July. Neil Prescott was charged with 1 count of telephone misuse until today when a judge dropped the case. CTV's Makia Turner is standing by in Upper Marlboro with the details.
It all happened in just a span of a little under 90 minutes today when Neil Prescott appeared in mental health court, noticeably ready to undergo day 1 of his trial. Now, minutes after it kicked off, the defense cited a technical flaw in one of Prescott's charging documents, one that led a judge to dismiss the case. The state's attorney explains.
What we filed in this case were charges that directly reflected the statute, which said to threaten, harass, or annoy was the crime that we were describing, and we believe that we were describing one crime in this case, and the judge differed with us there and said that we needed more specificity and that we should have used the word and rather than or. Our theory, which we thought was a good theory, was that we were still reflecting it was the same crime.
It's important to remember that when this incident occurred, we acted on the information we had at the time. At the time, it was relayed to us that he was in the process of being fired. We acted on his threats. He made these threats, no one else. He had the capability to carry them out, and working very closely with the state's attorney, with Anne Arundel County, and with the ATF, and effected an arrest.
Prescott was a former contractor at a Capitol Heights business. He was arrested after making alleged phone calls that threatened to, quote, blow everyone up. Last July, police seized more than 20 firearms along with 40 cases of ammunition from Prescott's Anne Arundel County home. All of the weapons were purchased legally. Now that the charges dropped, officials say he has the right to undergo a process with the ATF that would allow him to get them all back. Prince George's State's Attorney Angela Alsall-Brooks wrapped up today's press conference with a message for those with bad intentions.
Don't make threats such as this threat. We take them very seriously, and whether it is meant in a joking way or not, in the environment that we currently live in, this is inexcusable.
The state's attorney says that the office will review all of the facts in this case and that Prescott has been treated since last August for a mental illness. In Upper Marlboro, I'm Makia Turner, CTV News.
And this case sheds light on the state's attorney's push for legislation that would make threats of mass violence a crime in Maryland. That bill died on the Senate floor during the last night of the General Assembly. A DNA match leads police to a murder suspect in a 30-year-old cold case. 27-year-old Stephanie Watson disappeared on July 22nd, 1982. Detectives say she left her Laurel home to run errands before going to work at what was then the Greater Laurel Beltsville Hospital, but she never made it there. Watson was last seen at a local bank. Investigators say her blood-soaked car was discovered several days later, and her remains were found in September of that year.
The vehicle was soaked with blood. They continued to work the case until September 3rd, when a young man saw a vehicle pull up, drop something into the woods. When he went to investigate, he saw what he believed to be human bones, and he notified the police. They were shortly thereafter identified as the remains of Stephanie Sue Watson. It was in the year 2013. Property was taken to our DNA lab here at the Prince George's County Police Department, and a positive identification was made on a John Ernest Walsh. This case is closed. We've spoken to the family. They're very happy that they finally have some closure.
Police say the victim and the suspect did not know each other, and so far they have no motive for the murder. 68-year-old John Ernest Walsh has not confessed to the crime and is currently incarcerated on the Eastern Shore. Walsh was convicted of rape and kidnapping in 1970, released in 1980, before being rearrested in 1989 for violating his parole. An Upper Marlboro community is still shaken up after a 7-year-old girl was allegedly sexually assaulted over the weekend. Police say the incident happened in the woods next to where the victim and her family live. Today, parents say they are keeping their children closer amidst the allegations, or the investigation rather, and Denise Douglas has the details.
Like most 8-year-old boys, Joshua Jones loves to run and play outside. But since Saturday, his mom hasn't let him out of her sight.
Not being out here by himself, just, you know, it's summertime now, so just staying in the house and reading and doing, you know, playing the games and stuff in the house.
Jermaine Jones is concerned for his safety after a 7-year-old girl was allegedly sexually assaulted in the woods beside their apartment complex here on Heathermore Boulevard. Police say the girl wandered off while riding her bike with friends, and that's when a man forced her into the woods with a gun and attacked her.
A short time later, she emerged from the woods, approached her friends, and told her what happened, and then they quickly got her to her mother, who was nearby. Her mother called police.
Me as a parent, I just couldn't believe it, and I just can't believe what her parents are going through.
Now investigators are looking for clues. Cadets searched the area yesterday. The victim has told police that her assailant is an older, heavy-set white man with a bald head and goatee-style beard.
I'm just hoping that they catch him.
And soon, Jones says, so that life for her son and this community can return to normal. Denise Douglas, CTV News.
And police say they have been receiving tips from the public and encourage people to continue to call. If you have any information on the case, you are asked to call 301-772-4908. A $20,000 reward is being offered for the tip that leads to an arrest. Well, a search committee has selected 3 finalists for the new Prince George's School CEO position. The panel, appointed by Governor Martin O'Malley and the state school superintendent, has sent its recommendations to County Executive Rashawn Baker. Baker is expected to make his selection for the new schools chief by the end of the week. Officials with the school system are not releasing the names of the 3 candidates, citing confidentiality. We are told that the final candidates were selected from a pool of 50 applicants. The Supreme Court overturns part of a landmark Voting Rights Act. In a 5-4 ruling, the justices say that a key provision of the law cannot be enforced until Congress comes up with a new way of determining which states and localities require close federal monitoring of elections. In the decision issued today, the court states that the most recently renewed version of the Voting Rights Act relies on decades-old data that doesn't reflect racial progress and changes in American society. Justices did not strike down the advance approval requirement of the law, but say lawmakers must update the formula for determining which parts of the country must seek congressional approval for election changes. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Valone.